After the fierce battle with the Saiyans, everyone rode an airplane to get medical treatment. Krillin then revealed a possible way to resurrect their fallen friends. Vegeta had mentioned that the Dragon Balls on planet Namek were even more powerful. If they could find them on Namek, there might still be a chance to bring everyone back. Just when hope seemed within reach, Bulma reminded them that they didn't even know where Namek was. Right then, Goku contacted King Kai, who flipped through his notes and found the coordinates. King Kai said Namek used to be a beautiful planet. Long ago, a drastic climate shift nearly wiped out the Namekians. By sensing with his antennae, King Kai discovered fewer than 100 Namekians remained, but they were thriving and were a gentle, peace-loving people. As for the origin of Demon King Piccolo, perhaps he had been tainted by Earth's human evil. While everyone pondered this, Bulma calculated the journey time. Even with her father's best spaceship, it would take an astonishing 4,339 years and 3 months to get there. Krillin then suggested using the Saiyans' spacecraft instead. Nappa's ship should still be intact, and he'd even picked up its remote control. Everyone burst into laughter and agreed on going to Namek. The next day, at the hospital, Krillin and Gohan would recover in 3 days. Goku needed 4 months, and they'd have to wait a month for a new batch of senzu beans. Maybe Yajirobe ate them all? Suddenly, Bulma rushed in, urging them to watch TV. Some scholars had found Nappa's spaceship first. Bulma took out the remote control she had tinkered with all night, confidently pressing several buttons. To their surprise, the spaceship blew up on the spot, creating a very awkward moment. Just then, Mr. Popo appeared at the window, saying he needed someone to come along to find another spaceship. He wasn't entirely sure where it was, so he needed someone to confirm it. Naturally, Bulma was the best candidate, though she eyed Mr. Popo somewhat skeptically. Bulma boarded Mr. Popo's flying carpet, and in a flash, they arrived at the world's edge, Sabaton Highlands. There, they found something that looked a bit like a spaceship. Mr. Popo explained that about 100 years ago, Cammy had mentioned that he'd lived in Sabaton since childhood. Before that time, he had no memories at all. Cammy had a house there, waiting for his parents for 30 years without success before giving up and leaving. After traveling the globe, he realized that house was unusual. It was round, had 4 legs, and resembled an insect. The door was voice activated. Simply saying Piccolo would open it, and sure enough, at the command Piccolo, the door swung open. Inside the strange craft, Mr. Popo and Bulma realized it truly appeared to be a spaceship. Cammy's parents likely sent him to Earth first, planning to follow later. Something must have gone wrong. Without an instruction manual, Bulma guessed the ship might be voice operated. After a few attempts, they figured it required the Namekian language. Fortunately, Mr. Popo knew it. In Namekian, Piccolo meant another world. To test the controls, Bulma suggested traveling near Jupiter. At Popo's Namekian command, the ship quickly reached Jupiter. Overjoyed, Popo realized that by reviving Piccolo, Cammy would also return to life. They hurried back to the hospital with the good news. Reaching Namek would take about a month. Bulma needed 10 days to make modifications to the ship's interior. Since Mr. Popo couldn't leave Cammy's lookout for 2 months, he would teach Bulma the Namekian language before departure. Bulma refused to go alone, so Krillin agreed to come along. Gohan also insisted on going, despite Chi-Chi's protests. Gohan was determined to bring back Piccolo, who had saved him. This resolve proved he'd grown more mature. Everyone set a date to meet at Kame House in 10 days. Bulma dressed in a specialized spacesuit and cut her hair short. Krillin kept it casual. Gohan looked like a perpetual school kid with a fresh haircut. Seeing their simple outfits, Bulma grew annoyed. Her elaborate preparations suddenly felt foolish. Gohan then changed into clothes he made himself, likely honoring Piccolo's style. Bulma switched outfits too, still grumpy about feeling silly in her spacesuit. During the month-long journey, Krillin and Gohan would spar in a mental training simulation. Gohan seemed to have a slight edge over Krillin. Meanwhile, after 18 days of space travel, Vegeta reached a distant planet. Seeing him in a life support device, local warriors took him straight to a medical facility. Vegeta recovered swiftly and donned a new set of armor. He planned to head to Earth the next day for revenge. En route, he encountered a soldier named Chui, who taunted Vegeta's defeat. Chui mentioned that Lord Frieza was furious about Vegeta's solo trip to Earth and had already gone to Namek to gather the Dragon Balls. Armed with information from scouters, Frieza intended to make his wish and then exterminate the Namekians. Sensing danger, Vegeta immediately changed course for planet Namek. 34 days after leaving Earth, Bulma and the others finally arrived on Namek. As Bulma prepared to check for oxygen, Krillin and Gohan jumped out of the ship first. Bulma scolded them for being so rash. Using the Dragon Radar, she quickly pinpointed 6 Dragon Balls. Just then, then, Gohan sensed a powerful and sinister energy in the distance. Krillin felt it too. Bulma noted that the direction Gohan pointed to matched where 4 of the Dragon Balls were located. But since Namekians were known to be gentle, she thought it might be okay. At that moment, a familiar spaceship streaked across the sky. Krillin guessed it was Vegeta's. He suggested Bulma call Master Roshi to report their status, then return to Earth for safety. He and Gohan would remain behind to collect the Dragon Balls. Bulma happily agreed. Vegeta, having just landed, intended to intercept Frieza. As soon as Bulma finished her call, another identical spacecraft zipped overhead. Near the 4 Dragon Ball location, Lord Frieza and his henchmen had already gathered 4 Dragon Balls. Zarbin, checking his scouter, confirmed Vegeta's arrival on Namek, and Chui had also followed. He also detected 2 strong power levels that vanished suddenly, prompting Frieza to send someone to investigate. Frieza knew Vegeta planned to betray him and ordered Chui to eliminate Vegeta. Chui was thrilled, but Vegeta showed no fear. Chui's scouter reading suggested he was stronger than Vegeta, but Vegeta had learned a trick from Earthlings to mask and then boost his true power. When Vegeta powered up to 22,000, Chui's and Zarbin's scouter shattered. Dodoria, using a newer scouter, measured Vegeta's strength at 24,000, surpassing both Zarbin and Chui. Frieza remained unconcerned, asserting that Zarbin and Dodoria teaming up would be enough to handle Vegeta. Chui immediately pretended to surrender to Vegeta. Suddenly, he cried out, "Look, Frieza is here!" Hoping to catch Vegeta off guard. He attacked when Vegeta glanced away, but Vegeta had already evaded, anticipating the trick. With a sneer, calling Chui a dirty firework, Vegeta annihilated him on the spot. Frieza knew what was going on, but remained unconcerned. He set off to find the 5th Dragon Ball. Vegeta's strategy was to secure 1 Dragon Ball first and then, after Frieza had gathered 6, swoop in and steal them, since he couldn't defeat Frieza head-on. Meanwhile, Frieza's henchmen arrived near Krillin's group to investigate. Following Krillin's plan, Gohan concealed his energy and powered up slowly. The 2 thugs carelessly blew up Bulma's spaceship first. Then Krillin and Gohan quickly dispatched them. Bulma was heartbroken that they now had no way back to Earth. Krillin suggested they hide. They found a cave, but soon sensed several powerful energies rushing past overhead. Although those energies merely flew by, Krillin and Gohan were left trembling. Checking the Dragon radar, Bulma confirmed that those strong fighters had the Dragon Balls. Krillin mentioned that facing Frieza directly left him paralyzed. Frieza's power was terrifying. Bulma noticed that Frieza's team was heading for the location of the 5th Dragon Ball, where the Namekian should be. Krillin and Gohan decided to go and see what was happening. Back on Earth, Master Roshi updated Goku on the situation. Yajirobe arrived with 7 fresh Senzu beans. After Goku ate one, his injuries vanished instantly. Dressed in the new uniform from King Kai and holding the remaining 6 beans, Goku headed off to see Bulma's father, who had been modifying Goku's old Saiyan spaceship since his childhood. Goku left happily. When Yajirobe asked why he seemed so cheerful, Master Roshi explained it might be the Saiyan nature. Encountering powerful foes excited him. At Bulma's home, her mother guided Goku to meet her father. Goku saw the transformed spacecraft. It was practically a brand new ship, now equipped with a classic artificial gravity chamber that could go up to 100 times Earth's gravity. Goku planned to use it for training. They had a bathroom, kitchen, and bedroom on board, but no stereo system. Goku, eager to start, didn't mind. Bulma's father informed him it would take only 6 days to reach Namek. Without delay, Goku set off, beginning his journey by training under 20 times gravity. Meanwhile, Krillin had slipped close enough to observe Frieza's activities. He and Gohan saw Frieza gathering Dragon Balls and menacing a group of Namekians. Under pressure from Frieza, the Namekians revealed that the second Namekian Frieza's men had killed had already explained the setup. There were 7 Dragon Balls in total, all created by the Grand Elder. Each Elder safeguarded one. To get them, one would need to negotiate or outsmart these 7 keepers and justify the reason behind their wish. Listening in through his scouter, Vegeta caught every word. He realized that Frieza had obtained the first 4 Dragon Balls by brute force. Just then, Zarbin stepped in and mercilessly killed 2 more Namekians. Seeing this, Gohan seethed with anger, but Krillin held him back, reminding him that they were no match for Frieza's group right now. Frieza then openly stated his purpose for wanting the Dragon Balls. First, to achieve immortality, and later to become taller. Since the Elder refused to surrender the Dragon Ball, Frieza decided to use a child's life to threaten him. At that moment, 3 young Namekians Namekians returned to the village. Frieza taunted them, asking why they would come only to meet their deaths. Dodoria scanned their power and found each to be at a level of 1,000. Krillin, however, noted quietly that Namekians had the ability to mask and then unleash their true strength. Realizing that Frieza's troops were locating Namekians using scouters, the Elder watched as the 3 young Namekian warriors made their move. In an instant, their power level spiked to 3,000, forcing Dodoria to step into the fight himself. Before engaging, the Elder told the children to run, and in a swift, coordinated action, the 3 young Namekians destroyed not only Dodoria's scouter, but the remaining ones as well. This left Frieza's group blind to Namekian positions. Furious, Dodoria charged at the Elder, but Frieza halted him, ordering Dodoria first to eliminate the 3 young warriors. Dodoria easily dispatched the first 2, one with a single blow and another with a mouth blast. The third tried to counterattack, but Dodoria emerged unharmed and finished him off as well. With no other choice, the Elder offered the Dragon Ball to save the 2 remaining children. Frieza, however, demanded the Elder reveal the locations of the last 2 Dragon Balls. The Elder refused. Frieza then decided to kill the Elder and the children. The Elder urged the kids to flee while he held the enemy off. One child, Carter, was instantly killed by Dodoria. Gohan, unable to restrain his rage any longer, dashed forward and kicked Dodoria away. Krillin followed up with another kick, snatching the surviving child. They made a swift escape. Dodoria pursued them, firing blasts that caused the child to slip, but Gohan caught him in midair and kept running. Krillin then unleashed the solar flare, temporarily blinding Dodoria. Taking advantage of his confusion, Krillin and Gohan hid. Without a scouter, Dodoria couldn't locate them. He fired a powerful blast at the ground, assuming he had destroyed them, and then left to report his supposed success. Save for the moment, Krillin and Gohan returned to Bulma. Meanwhile, Bulma was relaxing in a bath while on the phone with her father, pleased to learn that Goku was on his way. As Dodoria headed back, he was suddenly ambushed and knocked into the water. The attacker was Vegeta, who had already deduced that Frieza's scouters were gone. Vegeta crushed his own scouter underfoot, having learned how to sense energy without it. Panicked, Dodoria tried to bluff, claiming Vegeta should vanish if he didn't want to die, but his trembling betrayed his fear. Dodoria knew all too well the power Vegeta could wield. Having exposed Dodoria's bluff, Vegeta forced him into submission. Dodoria tried to scare Vegeta with an energy blast, but Vegeta easily overpowered him. Exploiting the situation, Dodoria offered critical information about Planet Vegeta in exchange for his life. Curious about the truth, Vegeta listened. Dodoria revealed that Planet Vegeta wasn't destroyed by a meteor. Frieza, fearing the Saiyans' growing power and unity, personally annihilated the planet and its people. He chose a time when Prince Vegeta was off-world, having high hopes for the young prince's potential. Vegeta wasn't upset about losing his people or parents. He was furious because he'd been manipulated since childhood. His anger flared, and with a single blow, he obliterated Dodoria as he tried to flee. Determined now, Vegeta went to inspect 2 powerful energies he sensed, suspecting they were Earthlings. Sensing Vegeta's approach, Krillin and Gohan hid themselves and suppressed their ki. Vegeta arrived but found nothing. Krillin's group spotted Vegeta without being detected. Because young Namekians couldn't hide their ki, Vegeta headed toward their location. Just as Krillin and Gohan prepared to make a stand, a large fish leaped out of the water. Distracted, Vegeta abandoned the search and focused on finding the remaining Dragon Balls instead. Krillin, Gohan, and Bulma regrouped. Bulma informed them that Goku would arrive in 6 days. Krillin felt a surge of hope. Meanwhile, Vegeta, using his ki sensing, located another Namekian village. He demanded their elder surrender a Dragon Ball. The elder sensed Vegeta's malicious intent and refused. When Vegeta moved to kill the elder, another Namekian stepped in as a shield. Back at Bulma's hideout, the young Namekian boy introduced himself as Dend. He explained that Namekians needed only water to survive. The planet's climate catastrophe prompted them to plant special trees to restore their home. Suddenly, Krillin and Gohan felt surging ki in the distance. They realized Vegeta was slaughtering Namekians again. Sure enough, Vegeta massacred the villagers and seized their Dragon Ball. Krillin and Gohan explained Earth's Dragon Balls to Dend. Inspired, Dend decided to lead them to the Grand Elder, the progenitor of all present-day Namekians. When the climate disaster struck, only the Grand Elder survived and began repopulating by laying eggs. Dend was his 108th child. The final Dragon Ball was with the Grand Elder. Thus, Krillin and Dend set out for the Grand Elder, while Gohan stayed behind with Bulma. Vegeta, meanwhile, hid his newly acquired Dragon Ball underwater and set off to find the next one. As for Frieza, not seeing Dodoria return, he dispatched 2 subordinates to find the remaining 2 Dragon Balls and took the 4 he had back to his ship, who will secure the Dragon Balls first. Don't miss the next episode of the Great Namekian Dragon Ball Struggle.